Live, this is One for the Record. I'm Diana, and today is Sunday, December 16th, 2012. It is late Sunday evening, and here are your updates for today. I'm going to attach a video from Pastor Paul Bagley on all the animal deaths for the last, from now back to, I think, just about the last 2 months. And this has been going on and on every day. And they don't report on it on the mainstream media. Every day since last year, approximately. Alrighty then. A big heads up on that. Stay tuned after this broadcast and you'll see the video. And listen to how many animals have died. Alright? I don't know about you, but I'm not a vegetarian. I used to be, but I'm not a vegetarian. And this is looking bad. You see what I'm saying? And we're not that much different from the animals. 2 eyes, a nose, a mouth. We breathe oxygen. Okay? And some of the size of the animals, like horses and whales and hippos, and they're a lot bigger than us. And they're dropping. Alright? Buffalo. So stay tuned for that to continue. Because I guess for some reason it stopped. And I'm going to have to add this on. Alright. What is this? I had to get rid of the light. The light is just too bright in my face. There. Alright. Here we go. Moving on. Mayan calendar countdown. 4 days, 0 hours, 52 minutes, 49 seconds until December 21st, 2012, 11:11 Greenwich Mean Time. Alrighty then. 4 days. If you don't have gas, get gasoline just in case. Fill up. And start getting really ready. Get your go bags ready just in case. Don't know what's going to happen. Nothing might happen. But it's not just the Mayans. It was the Chinese Qi or whatever that's called. And the I Ching. No, the Chinese I Ching. There was also the web bot. There was all kinds of things. What, the Hindus or something. Something in that. In the Vermana. There's like all these different things reported. Alright? So, just heads up. Just be ready for anything. Alright, moving on. And one of my commentators asked me if I was on pills. No. No, I'm naturally like this. Thank you very much. Alright, moving on. And another commentator said, oh, I guess not that much happened in 2012. Just because you didn't see it in front of your face doesn't mean that the tree didn't fall in the forest and smash a bunch of houses. Just because you don't hear it, that doesn't mean there's not a bunch of houses somewhere on the other side of the planet smashed. Alrighty then? Let's see. Okay, the Extinction Protocol 2012 and beyond. Hundreds of tourists trapped in Fiji as monster cyclone bears down on South Pacific Islands. Okay, so if you don't see the tourists, and they're trapped in Fiji as a monster cyclone bears down on them in the South Pacific Islands, since you're not there, does that mean it's not happening? Of course it's happening. Alright, next. Iran's military chief warns Turkey Patriot missile deployment could create world war. That's it. There's nothing else on here. It's Sunday. Okay, moving on. I read this live, you know. Okay, let's see. There's massive deaths. Oh, okay. Website is currently down. Okay, no watchers today. Okay, moving on to the E&E news. The energy news. NHK, Fukushima documentary. It's like being in jail. It's like we did something wrong and got locked up. Also, Gunderson on new video exposed. We now have the evidence that Fairwinds was right. Containments can blow up. And that's it. Let's see what else we got going on. U.S. Canada. NHK. Oh, sorry about that. U.S. Canada. New highway may be constructed around giant sinkhole official. Could be built if Louisiana 70 is compromised. Also, yesterday, new images of New York oil spill, Coast Guard obscuring slick. Alright. What else we have here? Also, Paul Begley's channel said there's a new version of the Bible. It's called the Queen James Bible. Also, Clinton fainted, I think it was yesterday, and has a concussion. She fainted and smashed her head. And now she has a concussion. Hopefully she'll get better soon. Okay. What else? I think that's going to be it. I didn't see anything else new on here. Alrighty then. And then we have to wait for the Paul Begley addition to load. So. Oh, I also saw a weird television series. It was called H+. It was about an RFID chip, nanotechnology chip, and I guess it looked pretty good. I think Warner Brothers did it. If I can grab some scenes from it, I'll add that to my next video. But it's called H+, and it's about nanotechnology. It's a drama TV series, sci-fi. Looked pretty interesting. It's like a little mini-series. They're like only 4 minutes long. They called it the digital series. Alright. It's on YouTube. You can look that up. Or I'm going to try to post some scene. And everybody has the chip. And then somehow there's a virus in it. And it starts shutting down everyone's digestive system. Unless you're out of the range of the internet signal. Like people were down in the sub-basements of parking garages and stuff to cut off the signal. Alrighty then. Let me get rid of this. It is 2 days down of the weekend. Tomorrow's Monday. Here we go again. And heads up, only 4 days left. So be prepared just in case the person next to you goes crazy. Alright? If all that is that's going to happen. Just be prepared. And I'll see you again on the flip side tomorrow. And if anything's breaking news, I'll put it out there for you guys. Alrighty then? Take care. Be prepared. And I'll see you again on the flip side tomorrow. More animal deaths. Here's a list of what's gone on so far this month.
This is amazing. Nick Rotolo got this to me. Very, very amazing, folks. So let me just share with you what's been going on in the world. Back on December the 14th, Friday, 300,000 pounds of fish have died in Long Lake, China. Same day, large fish kill found in a river in Shahe City, China. Same day, 10 tens of thousands of fish found dead in Lake Haikao, China. Same day, December 14, 2012, thousands of blue bottle jellyfish washed ashore dead on the beach in New Zealand. On December 13th, a large fish kill in a river, Langsai, China. On December 13th, hundreds of fish, crabs, eels found dead on the beach near Turn Island, Australia. December 12th, 6 dolphins washed ashore near Galveston, Texas, dead, right here in America. On December the 11th, 300,000 dead ducks died in several provinces of Java Island, Indonesia. December 11th, thousands of squid washed ashore dead in California. It was actually on a 12-mile stretch of the beaches. Thousands of squid dead. Also, December 11th, dead fish all over the place near giant sinkhole in Louisiana. December 10th, 1,600 dead sheep in a mystery in Nigeria. You want to know why the sheep are dying in Nigeria? I'll tell you. Because they're killing the sheep. They're killing the Christians. They're going around slaughtering Christians. No wonder. As I've always said, whatever's going on in the spiritual will manifest in the natural. Are you serious? And December 7th, hundreds of chickens were killed. Where? Taiwan. December 7th, 25,000 dead fish along the Gangadong River in China. Also, December 6th, 19 horses found dead in Canyon City, Colorado. What would they? Unexplained deaths. Also, December 6th, thousands of fish found dead, and also a lot of thousands of them dying along Kiowa Island, South Carolina. December 6th, 36 buffalo dead from an unknown disease. It's a mystery. It's in Nepal. Also, December 4th, large fish kill, Yaoyang River, China. December 3rd, hundreds of dead carp washed up on the Pinto Lake in California. December 2nd, 50 birds found dead along the road in Collin County, Texas. December 1st, catfish, hundreds of catfish, dead near Marco Island, Florida. Also, November 30th, 10 tons of dead fish found in the Ecological Park, China. November 30th, 4,000 wild ducks found dead in Russia. November 24th, 26 sea turtles dead. Where? Along in West Virginia. They're not, I guess that's in the rivers. I don't know how 26 turtles, I don't know what kind of turtles they are. Sea turtles couldn't be there. We'll find out about that. That must be a typo. November 22nd, large fish kill. Where? China. November 21st, 4,000 birds dead, Bangladesh. November 20th, 100 dead starlings found on the road by scientists are baffled in Missouri. November 20th, hundreds of fish found dead along the banks and ponds in Thailand. November 19th, fish killed, found in the rivers in the Philippines. November 17th, 50,000 chickens dead, New South Wales, Australia. Are you serious? Are we talking Hosea prophecy? Somebody said, I don't believe in Hosea prophecy. Really? Are you serious? Oh, my Lord, have mercy. Oh, let me read it to you. Oh, and there's a bunch more, but hang on a minute. In my book, I wrote Hosea prophecy right from the Bible. You have Hosea chapter 4, verses 1, 2, and 3, and the prophecy goes as this. Hear the word of the Lord, ye children of Israel. For the Lord has a controversy with the inhabitants of the land, because there's no truth, nor mercy, nor knowledge of God in the land. by swearing and lying and killing and stealing and committing adultery. They break out. Blood touches blood. Therefore shall the land mourn. Every one that dwelleth therein shall languish with the beasts of the field, and with the fowls of heaven, yea, and with the fishes of the sea also shall be taken away. Man's sin is bringing about the fulfillment of a 3,000-year-old prophecy called the Hosea prophecy. Hosea chapter 4, verses 1, 2, and 3, right here in your Bible. You can read about it. And it's thus saith the Lord. Man needs to repent of his sins. Time is running out. We're living in the apocalyptic hour, and it's not because of the Mayan prophecy. November 16th, 40 tons of red tilapia fish died in Vietnam. November 16th, thousands of dead gizzard shadfish found in Lake Erie, New York. November 15th, 40,000 fish found dead in 30 acres of ponds in China. November 15th, 28 whales. 28 whales beach themselves and die in Golden Bay, New Zealand. November 14th, thousands of birds have dropped out of the sky in the Sea of England. November 14th, 6,000. 6,000. Did anybody tell you about the thousands of birds dropping out of the sky into the sea in England? Nobody's telling you about that. And what about the 6,000 dead deer in Nebraska? What? And what about November 13th, the large fish kill in Xiamen Lake in China? And what about November 12th, 100 herds of livestock dead, Uganda. And November 12th, mass death of seagulls, turning beaches into mass graves, Morocco. And November 10th, 185,000 hens dead from salmonella poisoning, Northern Ireland. November 10th, large fish kill in the river of Guangdong, China. November 9th, hundreds of dead fish wash up on St. Peter's beaches in Australia. November 8th, the die-off of spawning salmon, where? Seattle. In Longfellow Creek, Seattle, Washington. November 7th, there was an outbreak of anthrax, wiped out 50 antelopes and killed 30 hippopotamuses in South Africa. November 8th, 13,000 dead deer in Michigan. I've been telling you about that. November 7th, large fish die off in the Shenzhen River in China. November 7th, a fish kill along a 7-mile stretch of Bradford Branch in Ohio. Are you serious? It just keeps happening. Are you saved? I can't even get through them all. Folks, this is just in the last few days. You gotta
understand that we're not much different than the animals. You know, 2 eyes, a nose, a mouth. We're not that much different. And it is in the Bible. He's going to take a third of the animals. It doesn't matter what religion. Let's go past that. Even though it is in the Bible. Do you understand what's happening? And that the news is... Your mainstream news is not reporting on this every day. You get what I'm saying? Obviously... what's really going on? Alrighty then. Heads up. Heads up. Heads up, EPA. Heads up. You get it? It just keeps going on until we run out of animals, I guess. Right? And then what's next after the animals? Are we really that different? I just wanted you to see this, because it was important that you don't hear this on the news. Alright. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. It's been going on almost every day since last year. You know?
Today on the show, Every day, the Nuclear Regulatory Commission publishes a list of Event Notification Reports, otherwise known as ENRs. ENRs are filed by nuclear plants with the NRC to report an event. Today, we'll discuss two of these recent ENRs and how, by timely coincidence, they chime with a video expose that Fairewinds is about to release. All right, now to get right to it, Arnie Gunderson, thanks for coming on again this week.
Hey, Kevin, thanks for having me again.
I wanted to get started with a little discussion about an ENR. What is an ENR? Now, I know you're watching what the Nuclear Regulatory puts out almost every day, if not several times per day, and I understand that an ENR is something that the nuclear industry publishes to the NRC when they have a problem?
Yeah. If anyone wants them, they're available on the NRC website. They're called ENRs, Event Notification Reports. And every day, anything that went wrong at a nuclear plant that rises to a certain threshold gets reported in these ENRs. It's not just nuclear plants. There's 20,000 other nuclear licensees around the country. A lot of people use radiation sources for pipeline inspection and things like that. So there's a mixed bag of, lost sources or radiation turning up in a scrapyard or, a nuclear plant problem. But these ENRs are every day the NRC publishes them.
So this is a daily update?
Yes, you're right.
Not necessarily something interesting. Is it, 90% mundane? Or
Oh, it's probably 95% mundane. I read them every day, and usually on my first cup of coffee. And every once in a while, one wakes me up, and I don't need the caffeine anymore.
So this week, the reason we're talking about these ENRs is because you did find something interesting.
Yeah, this is a fascinating week. There's actually two ENRs this week. And, they're interesting in their own right. But on top of that, we shot a Fairewinds video, and it takes us about 2 weeks to get a video up. So at the beginning of December, we shot this Fairewinds video, and we talked about two blockbuster issues. And the issues are that containments leak and that the loss of the ultimate heat sink is an unaddressed problem. And son of a gun, here are two ENRs this week. One is about containments leaking, and the other is about the loss of the ultimate heat sink. So we're essentially getting some early publicity from the NRC for the video that we're going to post on Monday at noon.
And of course, when we shot this video, this was before any of this surfaced.
Right. I think our frequent viewers will know that we've done, these have been two of our major concerns, but we wanted to end the year with this blockbuster investigation of those two issues, which we did. And son of a gun, before we could even put the video up, the NRC comes along and basically confirms everything we had to say.
So let's start with this containment leakage ENR. Tell me about it. What's happening?
Yeah. There's a boiling water reactor almost identical to Fukushima in upstate New York, and it's called 9 Mile Point. It's up on the lake at the northern end of New York State, and it's interesting. I mean, that's where I met Maggie in our 30 some odd years ago. Was up in that very area. So anyway, this plant 9 Mile Point has a leak in the containment. And they published their ENR, and they've had to shut down because the containment is leaking.
So, Arnie, the Nuclear Regulatory Commission has, for a long time now, maintained that containments don't leak. And this is a topic that you discuss in the video coming out this Monday. But here, again, we see that containments may, in fact, leak. Can you talk about this?
Yeah, this one up at 9 Mile, the plant is shut down, and they haven't found the cause of the leak yet. But let's talk at a couple of others that have been in ENRs over the last couple of years. There's another plant right next to 9 Mile called Fitzpatrick, and it's a boiling water reactor just like the Fukushima Daiichi reactors as well. And an employee was walking by the containment and saw a 4-inch crack in the side of the containment. and it was bleeding rust. It was so well worn that rust was oozing out and running down the side of the containment. And it's interesting, the NRC's response, first off, they didn't shut down immediately. They waited a day or two to think about it. And the NRC never really penalized them for waiting a day or two when they didn't have a containment. But the NRC allowed them to repair it, which is a good thing, and then test to see if it leaked. The NRC never asked them to test before the repair was made. So, you know, the NRC staff has routinely told the Advisory Committee on Reactor Safeguards that every time a containment has been tested, it's never leaked. But they always give them these do-overs where they get to repair the damage before they do the test. Well, that's
Wait, maybe I'm not understanding this. You're saying that they come in and they test for leaks, but they allow them to do the repairs before they test for leaks?
Yes. And it's not just at 9 Mile, I'm sure they'll find a leak, and I'm sure they'll then do the test. But they'll never measure the leak rate before they do the test. It happened at Fitzpatrick. They welded back over this crack and then did a test and said, oh my God, the containment doesn't leak. Isn't that good? It also happened at Beaver Valley, where a 2-inch hole was discovered in the side of the containment, and they didn't require a leak test. The NRC had them patch the hole, and then they did a leak test and said, oh my God, it doesn't leak. This is a trend at the NRC. It's not just those reactors. There were a couple in Virginia that had leaks. There was the Turkey Point reactors in Florida. Just 2 years ago had leaks in the containment, and no one asked them to determine what the leak rate was. They patched it, and then they were allowed then to test. And of course, you know, after you fix the problem, you're not going to find the problem.
So what is the difference? I mean, this makes me think of going into the dentist to get my teeth filled and then going in for a checkup to see if I have any cavities.
Yeah, it's look, Mom, no cavities. That's a perfect analogy.
After you fix the problem.
Right, after you've had your cavities repaired, then you can claim you have no cavities. That's exactly what the NRC does on containment leak rate testing.
So, Arnie, moving on to another topic here, loss of the ultimate heat sink. This is something you've been talking about for quite some time, and just a few days ago, if not a week ago, the NRC had published an ENR related to that. Can you talk about that just a bit?
Yeah, at the Sequoia plant in Tennessee, there was they just discovered that the building that houses their emergency cooling water pumps, some people call them emergency service water. The Sequoia plant calls them the emergency raw cooling water. But in any event, it pumps cooling water to the diesels, and it pumps cooling water to cool the heat exchangers that cool the nuclear reactor. Well, they just discovered that that the building that houses these pumps was not leak tight, and that if a flood came along, the building would leak, and that the sump pumps were not big enough to pump it out. In other words, the flood coming in would overwhelm the pumps designed to pull whatever water leaks out. So they declared an ENR and put the NRC on notice that they had a problem. This is exactly what happened at Fukushima Daiichi. The water overwhelmed the service water pumps. And here we've had many replays of this here in the States, but the Nuclear Regulatory Commission doesn't seem to be doing too much about it.
So does Sequoia get any bonus points for reporting this?
No, basically they've said that they're since there's no flood now, they're going to keep running, and they're going to go out and repair this thing, and so they'll keep their eye on the river to make sure that there's no floods. And so basically you're expected to self-report, and that's the only way the system works. You know, there's only 2 NRC inspectors on every site, and at Sequoia there's probably close to 1,000 employees, so there's no way there's enough inspectors to keep track of everything. So they've got to self-report.
So these are the pumps that cool the reactor. These are the pumps that the reactor relies on not to go into meltdown in the case of a problem. My understanding then is that these pumps at Sequoia are not themselves submersible pumps, but they're housed in a structure that is supposed to be leak-proof. You're telling me that this ENR published by the NRC is stating that the housing that these pumps are in has now been determined not to be leak-proof.
That's right. That's right. You know, you've got two ways of solving the problem. You can make the building leak-proof or you can make the pump leak-proof. And at Sequoia, now they've just realized they have neither. Now, we don't know how long this problem has existed. You know, is it something that developed in the last year, or have they been running for 30 years with this problem? We just don't know. And the other piece of it is that this is a design basis flood to the old standards. And you'll recall the NRC is trying to get people to reevaluate the design basis flood. And so no one knows what else is out there. We're going to find now when floods are determined to be 5 feet higher than they had been designed for, we're going to find more of this. That's what we were talking about in the video that's coming out on Monday, is the issue that the NRC has been like an ostrich in the sand, ignoring this whole issue of flooding the cooling pumps that are designed to protect the reactor.
I think this video is going to make these two issues very clear for the viewers. Again, containment leakage is one issue, and loss of the ultimate heat sink is the other issue. Both issues now are being at least talked about, and at least by TEPCO acknowledged. What can you tell us anything about this video? Maybe a little sneak peek.
Well, we've been studying this issue for months, and you know our frequent viewers will know we've been on it since April of the very first time after the accident. But we have some pretty conclusive evidence of a detonation shock wave, and we've got some pretty conclusive evidence that the NRC is ignoring loss of the ultimate heat sink. So the video that's going up on Monday at noon is basically an expose on things that Fairewinds has been saying all along. We now have the evidence that pretty much proves unequivocally that Fairewinds was right, that containments can blow up with a detonation shockwave, and that loss of the ultimate heat sink is being ignored by your friendly regulators at the Nuclear Regulatory Commission.
All right, so that video coming on tomorrow at noon, Monday, tomorrow at noon, on fairewinds.org. Anything else today, Arnie?
No, I think that's it. That's a pretty full week, actually.
Arnie Gunderson, thanks for joining us again this week.
Thanks for having me, Kevin.